The great trick of all this really, I think, starts with OpenAI claiming to be a nonprofit, because everyone said, oh, it's a cute, like, nonprofit studying thing. It's just a cute little bunny, and then it bites your head off, right? And like, I think that's great.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another week of More or Less. Cabin edition. We're on cabins. Dave, you look like you're in a teepee.
I'm in an A-frame. Yeah.
You look like you're on Mars.
He's got some glowing lights behind him.
I might be on Mars.
It's a very modern A-frame. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I like your outer known hat. Have you tried Kelly Slater's new sunscreen?
I have not, but I do love the clothing.
This is all Dave wears. Now, when Dave gets obsessed with a new clothing brand, he just goes all in for like 6 months. And so the entire wardrobe is outer known. So any men out there or women that want a new brand to try, outerknown.com.
Isn't that an old brand?
They make sweatshirts that are like towels. It's like a towel sweatshirt. And it's amazing.
Called the blanket shirt, Dave. And I love you, but you're about 5 years too late. Just so you know.
We've had these blanket shirts for 5 years.
Yes, it's kind of like the nap dress. Do you guys know what the nap dress is, Dave and Sam?
I've never bought a nap dress, but I aspire to.
I have nap dresses. I don't nap, but I have nap dresses. So theoretically, I should be napping. Oh, speaking of, sorry, one more tangent. Have you guys heard about the caffeine nap? I was just reading about this on Twitter.
No, but I take this magic drink now that I'm supporting the offline portfolio with my
Magic Mind. Oh, good. Drink more Magic Mind. Well, so it's been proven, I guess, with all this new brain science, that if you take a shot of caffeine or espresso or something and then instantly lay down to nap or rest for like 20 to 30 minutes tops, because you want to make sure you don't get groggy. So you got to wake up by 30 minutes. You will have like double the energy because the caffeine will start to take place.
This sounds like what we call magazine math in the business.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Someone kind of made this up. Also, if you drink a bunch of alcohol, you'll fall asleep, you know? Like,
you know what I learned last night when I was supposed to be in bed, but doom scrolling the internet? You know how old people smell?
Yeah. Why do they smell?
What do they smell like?
They smell because of an issue with the way like your skin enzymes process some shit, according to some internet thing I clicked on. Solution is to eat mushrooms. That's what I learned.
What kind of mushrooms? The magic
what
kind?
mushrooms are we talking about?
I took a screenshot of this one because it was interesting enough, so I'll tell you. But I was thinking that this seems like as America ages, here, shiitake or oyster mushrooms. Mushrooms are the perfect smell to combat old person smell.
Wait, are you just combating the smell, or are you actually changing the cellular function by eating these mushrooms?
I think it's probably just the smell, but I think an old person pill that you could sell as like a, don't smell bad. The other thing this article pointed out is that
goes perfectly with rocks.
The other reason old people smell is because a lot of them don't have showers you can walk into, and they're scared to take baths and showers. So they actually just like smell.
Literally smell.
This could also be the reason 3-year-olds smell, but that's a different topic. Yes. This is fascinating, Sam. I think maybe it'd be more interesting to talk about why you were up late on the internet with your new projects.
Oh, yeah. Guys, I have rebuilt. Last summer, I built actually from the same cabin, hearsay.email, where I basically was like, I can't read all these newsletters I get anymore. I just need to like ingest
yes,
them.
I remember.
So I decided, because I'm in the same cabin, you have like muscle memory, that with modern technology a year later, I should rebuild it. And I did. I'm like 90% done with it. It's hearsay.email, but better. I got a better domain for it because I can get more emotive. I've created LetterMeme.com. And it's freaking awesome. By the time this episode goes live, it will be the Death Star will be fully operational. But honestly, it's so good. I basically am just pulling in all the newsletters I subscribe to, ripping them apart with Gemini, restructuring them a bunch of ways, and then it's spitting out every hour an updated view of the major themes that are happening in the world according to newsletter, and then every newsletter's take on that theme. And I gotta say, guys, it's freaking great. So like I'm like have a lot of fun with this. There's going to be a daily email that comes out. I actually built it with a chat bot, so you can now talk to the history of all of the newsletters and ask questions about.
Is this a paid service, Sam?
Well, it's going to start free, Britt, but I might make the chatbot and daily emails paid. We'll see.
Can your friends and family get in for free?
How many vibe-coded services is a consumer willing to pay for until they need to be bundled?
That's another topic for another day.
Well, this is a good topic, though, because it's also like, well, sorry, Sam, finish your pitch.
Well, no, I'm just like, I've actually had legit, and I will say that the big thing for me is I like building these things every once in a while with the newest, and really like refreshing them because you see how far the tools have come. And the answer is from a production, make something good perspective. The last year's been good. Like modern Gemini is like quite good, right? In terms of like its ability to
modern Gemini, as in that ancient Gemini from 3 months ago.
So to add to this, last summer, sitting in the chair that I believe Sam was in last week on last week's pod, I built myself a bookmarking service called ThinkMark, and I've been using it for
you guys and your names, really, Britt. They need you.
I can really help you guys.
My bookmarking service is called Caste.
I'm gonna make a Brit vibe coding app that does brand name generation for Sam and Dave as a service.
Honestly,
all right,
that's
fine.
Like a 10-minute project.
So,
okay, Dave, tell us about your app.
I saw everybody talking about Claude Code, and I was like, how much better can it actually be? And so I tried it this morning, and it's pretty mind-blowing, actually, how good this thing is. Like, there's a bunch of tasks that I've been meaning to do to clean up ThinkMark. Like, I built it really with a very basic architecture, and I've been using it for a year. It's super great. I love using it. And Claude Code went and just like fixed I basically was just like, go fix everything that I should have done last time I worked on this. And it's pretty mind-blowing how powerful this tool is and how it will just go and re-architect your whole thing, make all the right directories, write all the code, ask you for input when it needs it. So
can we talk about the Claude effect here? This is a new concept that is coming up. So I think our listeners know, but Claude is Anthropic's model. It has been the leading model for coding forever. Companies like Cursor, heavy users of it. Is this like, is this a concept that's coming up? Are you guys seeing a lot of startups that are like pitching themselves based on this? I mean, it seems like a pretty good gig for Anthropic if they're really this dominant in it.
What do you mean pitching themselves based on this?
Well, I just like, so one of my editors today on our daily meeting was talking about this hot new company, not a US company. And she was like, it's part of the Claude effect. And I'm like, what's the Claude effect? And she's like, all these new apps that are being built on Claude. I just hadn't heard it framed that way because obviously it's a model that a lot of apps are using in addition to other models. But it seems
I think that's a gross oversimplification. I think there's a lot of different models being used. And yes,
Dave, what I was reacting to was your statement that it's incredible how good Claude's gotten. So can you elaborate on that?
Specifically Claude Code. Claude Code is a tool that Claude has built, which I guess you could call it an agentic coding assistant.
One could, but one shouldn't, yes.
Yeah, you could call it that. I mean, it is what it is. You run it in the terminal, you hook it up to the repository you're working on, and, it kind of will build out this to-do list of things that it thinks are good things to do for your project. You can say, yes, do all of that. No, only do these 3. It'll go off and do it for a while and then come back to you and say, okay, I did all of this. Is this what you wanted? And you're kind of like supervising this coding agent that is off doing things rather than, with something like Cursor or, more directly interacting with the models, you're more actively involved. Whereas this is much more of a, like, I guess I feel like I was supervising it all morning this morning. And part of what inspired me to do this was I saw Adam D'Angelo write a new job description for the new engineer they want to hire at Quora.
I saw that too.
And I thought, I really respect Adam D'Angelo, and I worked with him for years. And when he writes something like that, I pay attention.
You think he'd ever come on the pod?
So Quora is hiring a new, what they call single engineer, who will use AI to automate manual work across the company. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is that the job description, it starts out as you would expect, develop and maintain internal tools and systems that will automate work and increase employee productivity. But then he says, use AI as much as possible to automate your own process of creating this software. And then goes so far as to say, supervise the choices that AI is making in areas like architecture, libraries, and technologies, and be ready to debug complex systems across front end and back end when the AI cannot. And so this strikes me as like the crossing of a Rubicon in the Valley. Here's one of the most respected CTOs writing a job description that, is, I think, a radical departure from how you would hire an engineer, even a year ago. And so that's what got me thinking, like, okay, I need to go check out Claude Code. And that was basically my experience of it this morning. And it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go a step further, which is I've been having this. We've been talking about hiring, some associates for the creator fund or whatever at Slow, and I gotta be honest, like, I don't want to hire anyone who can't code anymore. Like, and like coding, what coding means is a little different, right? But
Yeah.
like, you need to be as good at doing this stuff as me or better. I feel like at this point, just because it's so unleveraged. Like, you see people doing manual work without AI tools, right? And again, I still think the jury's really out on like the economics of all this and who wins and what's good business and what. I stand by that. But just from a pure workflow perspective, it's like, if you can't like build applications with AI to do your own job better, you just are not good at your job anymore. And like, it's just annoying. Like, you watch them like filling out a spreadsheet and you're like, oh my God, shoot me. Right. And like, it's just not, I think it's like a very different vibe shift in terms of, on one hand, everyone's saying the engineering is dead.
What do you do instead of filling out spreadsheets? I was just asking for a friend here.
I write a little script to generate some fucking JSON and just slap that shit in and let the AI do it. And like, when I want to update something, it's just like, it's all starting with tools at this point, right?
Yeah, and we're working on hiring a marketing lead at Offline, and the same thing applies. Like, I want someone who is like so native with AI that they don't even think about content production in the old school way at all anymore. It's like,
yeah, I got really mad at an associate at Slow like last week.
I want to come back to your point. That was an issue point.
Well, I want to think this is tackle on and go back to Bruce's point, which is like, I got really mad at an associate at Slow because like they showed me something they were doing for marketing, and it was like a bunch of manual emails, and I'm like, no, like, template API, are you kidding? It's 2025, right? And
not only templated but personalized. Like, everything can be personalized to the audience.
Guys,
now.
I think I need to like pause my company for like a week and just
it's crazy, Jess.
This out.
It's so crazy.
Like, I literally can't keep up. I mean, today,
well, like, I lost my shit. Someone else at the company like had like 15 spreadsheets for something, and I'm like, you have to centralize the data. We can't work with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is like just how you manage data in like a modern organization. I'm
like preaching to the choir here, but I think we just have to like take the steps and start moving. Like, today, someone was like, we have a copy editing backlog. And I like kind of laughed.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm like, we don't have a copy editing backlog. We're just forgetting, all these other tools. And we have a great copy editor, and I'd love to continue to work with her. And she enhances our stories and does more than copy editing. But like, there is no reason, like, AIs are excellent at applying AP style when that's all you need. And so I'm announcing this new policy. I'm going to get so much shit at my all hands, which actually happens before this pod. So that's good. But like, on the margin, like, if our copy editor is backed up and you need something done, use an AI to copy edit.
Yeah.
Don't miss the scoop and have the typos, but people, this is still controversial in my industry.
Well,
so.
And I will say, this actually is, you talked about interesting startups. There's a startup that, like, I'll play on the margin. I won't say who it is or exactly what they're doing, but there is a whole set of problems about, like, you have a bunch of employees at a company. You want them using these tools, but you have no fucking idea who's using what and who's using it well and what they're actually doing with any of it. right?
Yes, this is a good
And so
point.
there's a really cool company we've been working with that I think has some really interesting ideas we've been working on about like how to deal with this. But this is like, it's kind of weirdly like, the thin stuff that Andrew Cortina and I did years ago, like we got like, it's funny, we never really got it, but we dabbled on the edges of so much of this stuff. But one of the big things we spent a lot of time on the analytics side was how do you basically stream all the data of everyone in your operations team all the time so you can figure out how to improve their work effectively, like where are their errors, where are they breaking, da 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 da. And I think like AI, as we get into that, like where every person is like a soldier of one using these tools, it becomes even more important to have that observability, right, and optimization.
You know what metric we need? Can we build something that solves for this? I would like a score of how AI adept I am across like the core AI tools. Because then I want to hire, when I'm screening people to hire for this marketing role.
Britt, I think you should just assert a score. No, Britt, give yourself a 92 and then just like put it on your LinkedIn profile. I think that's what you should do.
But I want to know what all these marketing people applying for offline are at their AI adeptness. Like I want someone to score them.
Sam does have an answer for this.
Well, too, first, we have a company we started with this. Joe Lonzell and I funded a company called Merit First that you can generate any sort of test for different roles and then do live screenings and scoring, exactly to solve these types of problems. So you could totally use that. I think the other thing is like, I feel like there's a thing with hiring and with funding startups where you're just like, just show me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk. I don't care what's on your. I mean, this is a Merit First thing, which is we just do not care about resumes anymore. Like, we care about what you can do. But like with startups, it's like, don't tell me the plan. It's 2025. Build the app and make some money. Like, that's the only way I can evaluate any of this shit, right? Like, I don't want and it's partially because AI is again. There was all this stuff about like fake resumes and that it's all true, but it's like. It just isn't that hard to like slap the Stripe API into some shit, right? And like start a V1 and show me what you can do,
Yeah, the New York Times had an article just a couple of days ago this week about the craziness happening with AI generated resumes and on the flip side, AI hiring practices.
Yeah.
So 11,000 applications are happening on LinkedIn every minute. And the estimate is that by 2028, 1 in 4 resumes is going to be fake.
No, it's way more than that.
By 2028, that's what this
only 25%. I bet it's gonna be like 99%. That's how scam works. I mean, like,
well,
it's
like
not,
North Korea already is like putting like parts of their state into these like fake resumes to try to get more data about technology companies in America. It's like really crazy. And then on the flip side, all the hiring people are also using AI to source through these resumes because there's so many. And it's just like an end to nothing.
It's the same thing we were talking about last week.
Yeah,
that
like
like
the content.
It's just a AI war of attrition on both sides.
Yeah.
Again, that's why the real question becomes, where do you actually land? What's the net and all this stuff? Because anything that's adversarial, right, will just become a war of attrition with bots fighting bots, right? And like that's, again, go back to the, I'm excited about Merit First. We've been working on it a long time. It's like that was the insight in that company, like when we started working on it like 2 years ago, right? Which is like, you're not going to hire up resumes anymore. They're totally fucking meaningless, right? And like cover letters, like it used to be, you could tell, oh, that's clearly a mask one, delete, delete, delete. Oh, that one's personalized. That one's actually meaningful. Like work was put into that. I'll spend a second on it. No more. Now you just ignore it all. And you end up with like a modern, it is actually very anti-open society, right? And very into like a caste system, like medieval type shit, which is people have been talking about for a long time, which is like, you have to go back to human-based networks because you can't trust anything you see or anything you're sent from an unvalidated source, right? So you end up with a very, very, going back to a more structured society versus a more open society because of AI.
So college applications just become like live presentations, live writing, live essay writing.
With this, actually, the way I ended up getting obsessed with this a while ago was because of the Harvard stuff after 10.7. And one of the big insights was like, look, Harvard's like way too easy, right? And like part of the issues with Harvard is just there's no discipline and like a lot of you're like, well, how do you make it hard again, right? And I was like, and what does this look like in the future? I was like, oh, we need to go back to like oral exams delivered like in front of a panel, like Oxford style, right? Like for a whole bunch of reasons. And I think with AI, that is where you'll go back. Like if you think about it, like the entire bubble in like written tests and written assessments and standardized tests was meant for industrial scale. Right? It's like, oh, we want to be able to look at more people. We need more efficiency in grading. Like, so you kind of bias towards like things that you can scale. But AI both invalidates all that type of stuff, right? Because it's too easy to cheat on. And right, makes it much more reasonable to basically scale Oxford-style stand and deliver examinations, which I think is going to be the future. You're going to lock your phone away, right? You're going to have live interviews on everything. That's what standard aptitude and such Merit First does, like on the web, is you have a war of attrition to make sure people aren't cheating, but you got to do it live, unprompted, delivery style to understand what people can actually do.
To put a bow on this AI topic, I've got another one that we haven't visited in a while, which is the copyright claims in AI. So there have been 2 decisions now, one in favor of Anthropic, one in favor of Meta, that say these models were legally okay in training off fair use books. So in the Anthropic case, there were some books that weren't deemed fair use, but
well, it's because they were allowing for educational use cases of the content of the books.
Exactly. Yeah.
I read that too. And my first reaction was like, oh my God, every author I know is just so pissed right now. It's kind of crazy. I was really surprised by that. Did you feel the same way?
I wasn't surprised because I think this is the way it's going.
And we've talked about this ad nauseum, right? Like we were saying this in the very beginning, right? Like, I don't even know. Go back to episode 20. We've been talking about this the whole pod.
Right. But the question has been, how are the courts going to decide? And it seems like the courts are friendly to the tech companies. In one case, I believe it was the Meta case, they sided with the tech companies, but pointed out that the media companies just had shitty arguments. So maybe the publishers need to hire better lawyers. I don't know. Obviously, there are many cases to come. New York Times and OpenAI is a big one. Yeah, I guess my feeling is like the ship has sailed, but
it sailed years ago. It's like, basically, I think the great trick of all this, the educational trick, really, I think starts with OpenAI claiming to be a nonprofit, which let them do all this stuff that like they would have never gotten away with if they weren't, right? Because everyone said, oh, it's a cute like nonprofit studying things. It's exactly like that scene in Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
It still is a nonprofit. The AGs of the world have decided they cannot become a for-profit. So
it's just a cute little bunny, and then it bites your head off, right? And like I think that's the great bait and switch, right? On all this stuff is like, I think everyone would have been way more on top of the copyright thing if they didn't like have this kind of like altruistic background. They're just doing research thing. But then when the research thing turns around into a huge business, they're like, oh shit, we already let the horse out of the barn. Like you're not getting it back in, right?
Yeah. The information broke this week that OpenAI has been discussing, we don't know exactly the status, but sort of a docs productivity like suite product.
Don't they have to? Isn't that obvious that they're just going to go up head to head with Google?
Right, you sound like my husband. Whenever I tell him about a new story we've just reported in the information, he goes, oh, duh, it's so obvious. Well, I'm like, yeah, but the facts are still the facts.
Yeah.
But yes, I just continue.
Think, like, well, and maybe just because like as investors, we have to think through like where the holes are going to be in these markets over the long term. Like if you imagine Sam Altman's strategic whiteboard vision for the next 5 or 10 years, like
big
you would imagine it's a very big whiteboard, like all the areas they're going to try to go into. It's probably like market. Well, Miro is doing well, I think. I don't know, actually. We use it a lot.
Is that offline. One of those smart white? I honestly, anyone, pick a side. Pick digital.
What?
Pick
you don't
analog.
Use Miro?
Use Miro. Britt, I barely use ChatGPT for copy editing. Come on. Wait. How am I going to use Miro?
Oh, Jess, for group brainstorming, it's so good for your team.
Oh, well, I need to do more of that.
That's your first problem. You brainstorm with other people?
Yeah, all your editors, like what are the big thesis areas and hot topics?
Oh, yeah, no, we do that daily. Yeah, behind our computer screens.
With real whiteboards? Oh, okay. Anyway.
Gotta say, we're holding down Asana here at The Information.
I love me some Asana.
Do you still use it, Brett?
Oh, yeah. I use it daily. That's how I do my to-do list. How do you guys do to your to-do list? Well, Sam and Dave probably don't have one. But Jess?
Right now, I'm using these kind of little note cardy things. And each one is a different theme.
Oh, analog.
So it's not working well.
Oh, we should get on Asana.
Bear. I use Asana, but I use Bear. Every person in my personal or professional life has a note on my phone. But yeah. Okay. So copyright. Next big news of the week. Morans, have you written in a Tesla Robotaxi yet. I believe there are 11 of them available. 11, maybe, give or take 1 or 2.
We barely missed the launch.
We missed
Austin.
it by 1 week. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
We were excited to try it. Morin's our pro autonomous cars. We would have been the first ones in those
one
doors.
Of Elon's 11 Robotaxis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, first of all,
we are hardcore Tesla people.
There is a safety driver in them.
There is?
So
a real one?
They have.
But isn't it in the wrong side?
There is a safety driver in the passenger seat. Yes.
What is it? They serve you tea and crumpets.
I don't want a human in my car. Ugh.
So you don't even get the solo experience. I think I
gotta say, the idea of a safety driver that some poor guy gets sick in the passenger seat and his only job is to be there when you crash. Like you're like, okay, like in Brit, like you're there. It's like, okay, we're gonna pay you. You can't actually intervene. You're just gonna sit in the passenger seat sipping coffee.
Is this person getting paid minimum wage, or do they get paid more? Do you think? Because it's not really a great job.
These are really interesting questions. I don't know. I just think let's just say there's a disconnect between the hyperbole of the language and the reality on the ground on this point.
What's the book about? Does he dare? Yes, he dare. Oh, it's Papa Bear. There's a great Berenstain.
No, there's a Berenstain Bear book.
I do love Berenstain Bears. Yeah.
With like, do they dare? Yes, they dare.
So at what point, Jess and Sam, would you feel comfortable getting in an autonomous Tesla with no driver, no safety driver?
Tesla, I'll have to get back to you because the answer
Jess is a special case because I think Elon's probably he's like has like a kill list. So I don't think Jess
What, you think he's gonna know if she's in one of the cars and then like purposely wreck it?
To be clear, he doesn't care.
His phone. It's like, do you want to crash Jessica Lesson? Yes.
Is that why Trump sold his Tesla?
It's just like, I don't know. This autonomous thing is here. It is not this current form of the Robotaxi. We'll see where it goes.
I think you guys should loosen up. I think you should give it a try.
Just for shits and
I'm
giggles?
reacting more from a business perspective.
No, I feel like you don't trust Tesla enough, just as a whole. I feel like you should move a little further down the spectrum.
The information here from the Morons is that Elon has subdued his tweets enough that you guys feel comfortable being in public, being so pro Tesla. That's the actual information.
We were pro Tesla the whole time, dude.
We stayed pro. Come on.
There was a 2-month period where the Tesla went down to a 50% from 100%.
You guys, let's be clear. We can go back to the episode, but I believe I was literally
AI will help us with this.
I was suggesting that we buy an entire parking lot of Teslas when the Teslas were, at their lowest price.
No, you also were kind of going into a little bit of like the Cybertruck's a little bit of a liability in my life right now.
No, it's like driving a Tesla was a liability, but it didn't stop me from driving.
Multiple things.
In fact, we bought one more.
We can hold multiple. You bought another one, guys.
They were so cheap. Why not? It's
an
investment.
Even I was tempted. The problem.
Sam actually convinced us.
I looked into this. I was like, this costs less than a phone. Like, this car is so cheap that it's almost embarrassing or un-American to not buy it. But the problem was there was a gotcha, which is that the insurance was so expensive. Right. So like the car itself was like free, but it was like the ultimate financing scheme where then like the insurance was like ridiculously expensive. So it made it less of a good, obvious free car.
Did we tell you about our idea to rent the Cybertruck out on Turo? Did we talk about that here in the pod?
I like Turo. We use it a lot.
No, I actually think it's like a high commodity value thing right now. Like it's like if people come to Silicon Valley for the weekend, they rent a Cybertruck. You could probably make bank on that. No, I mean, we'll get the Turo insurance.
There, Britt? Why not host an Airbnb experience?
Oh my God. You could sleep in the back of the Cybertruck. You could make a bed in there. That could be an Airbnb.
But like, why don't you add in, some cryotherapy, some red light, some meditation?
You could do a full Silicon Valley experience. Yeah. Yes, I bet you could sell that to people from like the UAE.
We should do the more or less
weekend experience.
All In has a tequila. We should launch.
We should. $25K a weekend.
That would be fun.
You get like 5 stops at the hottest Silicon Valley hotspots and a Cybertruck for a full weekend.
And you get a mystery dinner, and at some point, someone of nominal fame, like they've done YC, that level of fame, is going to come in.
There are people from Asia and the Middle East for sure that will pay for this.
You know what? The information should do this if more or less doesn't want to.
Jess, we're doing it.
Okay. There's a great meme of like, have you seen this meme of this British kid in like a Ford F650 truck? And he's like, I'm in America. This car is huge. America. Have you seen this meme?
No, but I am following.
No, I'm just in Montana right now. So that's how everything is up here.
Oh, no, I get it. It's just like a total, like, I can't believe I'm in America in a truck.
I think you could do cultural experiences like that for sure. Those would actually sell on Airbnb. That might be what makes Airbnb experiences work, you guys.
Guys, can I tell you something? Can I tell
Brian,
you
we have an idea for you.
Service businesses suck. You don't want to be in the service business. What do you guys do?
It's like glorified events, Sam.
Yeah, events is brutal.
No,
it's brutal.
Bad business.
This is just a side hustle.
There's no such thing as a side hustle.
Gelato store. This is a side hustle. I want to open a gelato store.
The gelato store is way more straightforward. I mean, you want to deal? Do you really want to deal?
Gelato store's not perishable inventory.
I do like the gelato store idea, Jess.
I think I can make a P&L that shows this works really nicely because the margin would be very high.
We can say to ChatGPT, please give us a P&L that shows.
I can promise you, the Asian tourist who buys your $50,000 more or less Cybertruck Silicon Valley experience is going to be the most annoying customer in the history of the world.
Well, we have like a lot of AI bots that will handle the customer service. We don't care.
Yeah, that's exactly. They're gonna smash your Cybertruck so fast.
And then that's fine. We want to get rid of it anyway.
You can't smash it. That's the whole bit. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's impossible to smash.
Wait, why do you guys want to get rid of it?
Well,
we don't.
You know,
it's one of the best products of all time.
Some division in the Morans.
Much more of a Model Y kind of person.
They stopped making those. It'd be much better, I think, if you sold like the liberal New Yorker. Who's the guy that they just voted for? This lunatic.
Oh yeah, the like 30-year-old person.
Oh, the New York thing.
I can't pronounce his name.
Although I do like that he's trying to make food trucks more affordable for everyone.
Yes, good Tuttle Twins reference.
Mamdani.
So one night, I actually think there's clearly a cohort of young, angry communists in New York. So if you sold them the ultimate Silicon Valley experience, where like you showed up at SFO with a Cybertruck and a baseball bat and a bunch of American flags, right?
No,
and you're just like,
I
go
can't
to town,
condone this.
burn it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's the baseball bat. Like, it's like, get your rage out now, right?
Guys, I feel kind of bad for, Lauren and Jeff. They're going to be celebrating their nuptials. And like these Venice people are burning them in effigy. And it's like,
where?
Okay, in Venice for their big wedding.
You guys, I'm not on social media anymore, so I don't know any of these things. You need to give me context.
This is a little pop culture corner, a little Silicon Valley. So Jeff and Lauren are getting married in Venice. They've only rented out 3 hotels
who are Jeff
total.
And Lauren?
Bezos and Sanchez. Get with it.
Dave,
soon to be Sanchez Bezos.
I don't know these first names. No, I know who Jeff Bezos is. I just didn't know them by their first names.
Lauren has 21 outfits for the wedding day, you guys. I think that's incredible. That's like less than 1 outfit an hour.
Don't these people have anything better to do with their time?
Hold on, they're getting married. Let them have a great wedding. I mean,
all the celebs are going, all the like heads of state, yada, yada, yada. And people in Venice are pissed. And people are like lighting things on fire and they're protesting.
Really?
And it's really crazy. The wedding itself is on their yacht. So it's not even in Venice.
What are they pissed about? Are they just pissed about sort of
inequality?
They're like, take your money elsewhere. Like that
was going to be my question. Was it because that seems to be the same thing going on in New York, right? Like it's the inequality is actually the driver of the politic.
Guys, you laughed at me when I said inequality inside big tech companies over these AI packages was going to be a thing. And I tell you, it's everywhere.
Oh, it has
Not
to be.
compare.
I just think that like if I were Jeff Bezos, you just lean into it. You do what they used to do. What you need to do is bread and circuses. This is discovered by the Romans thousands of years ago.
Isn't this why he bought the Washington Post?
Awesome event for the people of Venice, with some cool celebrities they can go to celebrate the thing. You fly some planes over and dump money on them. Like just like do it the way it used to be done, and like you're fine, right? But like,
dear God,
you can't.
They are donating to some local Venice charities.
Yeah, you can't do. You got to do bread and circuses. This is a 1,000-year-old thing.
Yeah, you got to throw a good party, Jess. You can't just donate to a charity.
I agree. I don't think that charity.
Every person in Venice,
they're not taking their responsibility seriously enough.
If every person in Venice had gotten an invite to the Jeff and Lauren wedding party. And it was cool, and it was a great like concert, and like it's pro. And they would have been like, yeah,
Katy
like,
Perry
awesome.
can sing a song or two. Yeah.
When your net worth is more than the entire country of Italy, like you have a responsibility to like throw a serious party.
You don't. It's just obvious. It's like, this isn't complicated. You throw your fancy party on your yacht, and you throw a rager for the people of Venice, and they're fucking thrilled. But you can't just like
totally
not do that. Like, what are you doing?
This is good advice. There's still time, barely.
Jeff, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, but it's the 21 outfits is impressive. Apparently, Anna Wintour, Dave, if you need that, was involved in picking many out, but is not coming. I think Tina Brown had 56 million is the price. Puck reported it as 15. I was like, no way, Puck. Correction.
Yeah, that's actually embarrassing by Puck.
I was embarrassed. I thought of saying something, but that would have been embarrassing too. So now I'm just saying it on the pod. Tina Brown, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys know who Tina Brown is, legendary editor, the New Yorker, many other things, has a fabulous Substack. I think it's called This Week in Hell or something.
Oh, great. I got to add it. I should add
Sam,
it to
can we
newsletter.
ingest Substacks into your newsletter tool?
Absolutely. If you guys have Substacks.
But do we have to validate and authenticate that we've paid for them, or can we somehow like scrape them?
No, you got to have paid for it. But then if you'd like to include it in my summaries to like which book,
all right, cool.
I send publisher traffic back.
How much a month do you think you're paying for Substacks on a whole?
I don't know. There's like certain line items in my budget that just are unknown.
Fresh Hell. Sorry, Fresh Hell is her.
I think I'm spending like $100 or $200 a month on Substacks. I don't know if that's...
I spend a lot of money on random things. But here's the thing of this Bezos wedding, just back to it. It's like,
Sam, this is the best idea I've heard.
The average American spends like their entire net worth on their wedding, right? Like when they get married.
Maybe. I'm not sure that's true.
Nah.
So I feel like this is the other thing is like this Bezos wedding is like nowhere near big enough. It's like $50 million if your net worth is $200 billion. It's like, that's like nothing, right? Like, I think he's gone way too small.
Yeah,
I'm going to just read this for open this lead. The Jeff Bezos, Lauren, circa 56 million, Venice sinking nuptials, tying up every tender on the Grand Canal and 90 private jets, is the big, beautiful Buster bomb of high net worth exhibitionism. And then she goes on to be a little lewder, but
again, it's like I actually think this is embarrassing to the low end. Like if you're gonna throw a party at this level, like it just seems really underdone.
You're absolutely right, Sam.
Jeff's a little too cautious these days. I don't know.
You guys, speaking of weddings, I got to officiate my first wedding this weekend.
Oh my goodness, how exciting! How'd it go?
Was this the Papu wedding?
Yes, the Papu wedding.
It took like 4 minutes on the internet to become an ordained minister, you guys, just so you know.
I'm officially ordained in the Church of Universal Life.
Oh, Sam, this reminds me. Remember when we were talking about that idea of just getting credentialed in as many things as possible as something fun to do in life?
Yes, the 1-year challenge. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like we should bring that back. And Dave is already on his way. So now, next up, what? Yoga instructor? What do you think?
For me?
Scuba diver?
Unfortunately, there's a few too many things going on in my life
trainer.
Right now. But I 100% would be into this challenge at some point in the next decade if we just set aside a year for maximum credentials.
I'll do it with you, Sam.
I'm totally in.
I don't even know how do we brand this? It's like, what's the branding? It's not the decathlon. It's like the
MaxCred. The MaxCred challenge.
For what it's worth, as much as I hate service businesses, this I could get behind if you're just like, all right, you pay like $100,000 or something. And it's called like credential year. And like, you're just like a list of like hundreds of credentials. And like, you have a consultant and you tick off the ones. And you're just like, that's the whole point of the program.
I just want my LinkedIn profile to be like the longest LinkedIn profile that exists. Because this is actually
a beautiful use of AI where you can say, find me the credentials the maximum number of credentials that you can do in a year. And how long each one of them will take, and then stack it all up and give me the roadmap.
Make me an agenda.
Like,
I need my schedule.
Is that like a thing? Like you just kind of like blow them all, blow through them.
Massage therapist. And there's different facets of these things too. Like you could be a myofascial specialist or a deep tissue specialist. I think you could get multiple credentials in one.
The thing you get at the end of the year.
Is this just the generalist credential? It's like you get a generalist degree at the end of the year?
No, I think what you get is an amazing business card that has all of your degrees on it, so you can hand it out at parties.
But guys, I'm kind of confused because don't we live in like the meme storytelling world? Can't you just create a story about this? Like Elon would just say he's the best in all these things, like without going through the effort. Like,
but Jess, we also live in a post, like we're moving towards a world where like the number one skill people need is how to amuse themselves because like AI is taking all the jobs, and so like we need new ways to amuse ourselves. So this is actually very important research.
Well, and to Sam's point, I think there's a marketing element here for all the people whose jobs are getting taken by AI, or they can only do real IRL in-person work. Things like scuba diving and myofascial release might be the most relevant things they can be doing. And so we're showing them how easy it is. If we can do it, you can do it too.
So
you know?
I'm picturing the reality show. It's sort of like The Simple Life, but not. But it's Britt and Sam re-educate themselves.
I was saying before how like I only want to hire associates who are really good at using AI and can code. But like if they were also massage therapists, you know, like
and ordained ministers.
Both those things could really get you in trouble in a professional environment. I'm just sort of saying. So maybe
I don't want
not.
a professional environment.
Oh man.
What a day. What a conversation. Hope you're enjoying it, everyone.
I hope you don't ask the people.
This is a summer more or less convo.
It is in every shape and form. But there's been what else? Well, let's end with the last big news of the week. Poor Bumble, the dating app, 30% layoffs. Bumble not doing so well.
I don't think it's about
not
poor
really
Bumble.
The dating app demo, but what's happening here?
That's not my take. My take is Whitney is back in as CEO. Dating apps are like universally kind of screwed right now, but some believe there's promise because of AI. But given what we just talked about with our hiring discussions, we probably take the less on that. Anyway, Whitney came back in.
It is an interesting question.
I've got to right the ship. She let go of 30% of the workforce, which, by the way,
it's a big chunk.
Her savings is $40 million a year, I read. But the Bumble stock is like crushing. Let me see what it's up to now. Yeah, up 25% today, just given that one move. So maybe
that's
it's
like,
Is that basically a stock response to do anything to try to save your dating business? And so people are just like, wow, a big move to try to save a dating business.
Part of the messaging was that she's allocating now a lot of this cost savings into technology and new AI systems and thinking and the future of dating. I don't think any of that matters.
I think the market just saw this as, wow, a dating app leader actually doing something to try to like stop the bleeding. Great.
Well, they would have to believe in the vision, Dave, if they're investing.
No, they have to believe they can make more money by selling it at some period of time to invest. I don't think
Yeah. But this is like 2 years ago's strategy, right? Like get lean, tell the people what they want to hear, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. I'm long on Whitney.
It's not clear that AI will have any impact at all on dating yet.
It's just sort of like if you've been on the app for too long, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't find you a mate, but I can suggest AI Bob.
I don't know. We've been watching our au pairs and our 20-something friends go through this dating universe. And I will say there's a lot of low-hanging fruit to take care of on these dating apps. And in particular, women can get hundreds of likes in a day or a few days if they're mildly attractive. And just sorting through all of that nonsense to get to the actual curated list of who might be a good fit is one step in the right direction. It's sort of just how do you create the best conversion and funnel optimization and all of that low-hanging fruit is still there. So yeah, I don't know that at the end of the day, people aren't getting tired of dating apps and wanting to meet in the real world. I still think that's a thing, but there's so much to be done still that hasn't been done yet on all of these apps.
It's true, but none of them are doing any of this innovation. I think that's what's so interesting. The business models have so much gravity that they have absolutely no incentive to change the model, even though it's very clear they're hemorrhaging brand by the day. And even though they're hemorrhaging brand by the day, they are unwilling to make any changes to their core product that will actually solve this, which to me is the most interesting thing. And Bumble was even willing to go so far as to remove their entire core differentiation.
Good point. Used to be women first, right? Women make the first move.
It's crazy to me that they're like unable to actually innovate and even, remotely impact this problem.
I'd like to be on the record that I have arranged 3 marriages going strong personally.
Nice, Dave.
So,
nice
there
job,
you
you
go.
guys.
We're going to Jewish heaven.
Sam's trying to become a matchmaker through his weekly newsletter. How's that going?
Or he could get credentialed.
I have an enormous amount of eligible women. Enormous.
I have so many eligible women and not enough eligible men.
So do we.
This is like a societal problem, guys.
If you're a single man out there listening, send one of us a DM because we've got a great marketplace.
I will say I won't say who, and I don't think they'll mind me saying this in public because I think it was a joke, but I heard the best idea about this. Would you like to hear it?
What is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we're going to wrap. So leave the people with some wisdom.
Here's the problem. You have this problem, which is an enormous number of very eligible women and a bunch of incel guys who like it's a huge mismatch problem. You have tons of really eligible women and no eligible men, right? Because it's just like math, right? At a certain age. And so these women were like, we have a solution. I'm like, what's the solution? It's like, we need to run a camp, which is just maybe try being a lesbian. Right? It's like, it might work for you. And if it does, it's a huge unlock. If it doesn't, it's fine. It's not for everyone, but like, it is a reasonable thing to question.
I don't like this idea.
Okay, you don't have to.
Well, this is happening organically, Sam. Not the lesbian part, but I mean, sort of. But the women that just prefer to stay single because it's just like, or I've heard about the rising percentage of women who aren't lesbians but want to live with other women as like housemates just because they want like someone to like cohabitate with them and like they're willing to share tasks like dishes and things and they want that sort of social community.
Roommates are back, guys. Remember these things called roommates?
But there's no sex in their lives.
Well, I'm just saying, I thought it was a very clever, non-obvious solution to the problem. If it works for some people, that's great.
Well,
report back, please.
I mean, I'm not reporting shit, but like, I'm just saying.
I think you should be a camp counselor, Sam.
If you're single, send one of us a note because we can maybe help make this marketplace better.
Maybe,
I'm not convinced that there's actually a supply and demand problem.
Oh, I think there definitely is.
There is. Like, Dave, we need eligible men.
I don't think technology is solving this anymore.
Unfortunately, biology disagrees with you, Dave.
No, I actually think technology, per usual, has given people exactly what they want, right? It just happens that like the efficient market for sex is like extremely bad for almost everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, another meaty opportunity for you entrepreneurial minds to take on. Maureen, do you have any fun weekend plans coming up?
No weddings to ordain this weekend. I think we're just going to go out on the boat and enjoy Montana.
Go on the lake vibes.
You have cold temps. We have cold temps. Very cold temps.
It's warming up today. It's great today.
Well, amazing. Well, I wish you a very happy summer weekend. And to all our awesome listeners, thanks for sticking with us, tuning in. We've had some awesome back channel thought-provoking conversation this week. So thank you to everyone for that.
Guys, did you know we actually got some positive comments last week in YouTube?
We did?
I'm not allowed to look at them.
I don't look at comments.
Shocked.
Jess, you really should look at them. They're not that bad.
No, they're terrible, and it's fine. I don't care. But like, I was like really confused because like some people were like, "We like this podcast," and I was like, "Wow."
Well, we should talk to them and find out what they like about it, and then do more of that.
Let's do some user research.
They usually tell us. You should go check out the comments, Jess. I think they'd like to hear from you.
I'll just get a glass of non-alcoholic rosé and sit back and read YouTube comments all day.
Here we go. I'll do a live reading. Technical product person here. This is my favorite pod by far. It's technical, business-oriented, future-looking, and hilarious at the same time. So thank you, guys. Heart emoji.
And then it's like 12 people who love Hamas. And like, whatever. That's the internet.
Dave, I think if we had a marketing AI, they would take that testimonial and do something with it. So can you like cut and paste it in the chat or something?
We're working on that, Jess. We're hiring. Please apply. Marketing AI people, come to me.
Sam responded, "These comments are too positive. Is YouTube broken? Thanks."
I just am baffled. I'm so impressed Sam has time to do this. He is a wizard.
It is true.
I get on a lot of phone calls that like are clearly not going to be matches for our fund with after 10 minutes. So
you just go on YouTube and start commenting.
Yeah.
You should say goodbye to them.
I was remembering who told me that he books 15-minute meetings. So when he can, like when he's done at minute 14, it doesn't like offend the person.
Idea.
I'm like, no, it still offends the person. Okay, friends, we will adjourn. We'll see you back here next week for another episode of More or Less. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed this show, please leave us a virtual high five by rating it and reviewing it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Find more information about each episode in the show notes and follow us on social media by searching for @MoreOrLess, @DaveMorin, @Lesson, @JLesson, and as for me, I'm @Brit. See you guys next time.